Spring is just around the corner, and I do like to have an organized garden. And the blueberry signs were looking actually kind of decrepit after 2 years of sitting outside. You barely read them, and they were growing all kinds of mold and fungus. I thought maybe I should replace these with something more permanent.
So I've got a couple other things going in the shop, a couple other builds, and I thought, what the heck? I've got plenty of gas for once, lots of wire, and some scrap bar stock. I might as well make a couple of these that'll last for a couple years, or maybe a couple decades, give or take a year, instead of just something that lasts a couple seasons. It's my mo. It's what I do. I overbuild things. And maybe garden stakes for blueberries. This might just be the latest example of me overbuilding.
So I had about 7 feet of inch and a quarter and inch and a half flat bar that I thought, this would make a permanent sign right here. New filters, cause my lungs are worth it. I do not think that my third grade teacher would be incredibly proud of my penmanship or the fact that I used all capital letters, but I'm not exactly drafting the Magna Carta. There are 8 varieties of blueberries in total, and each one of them got their own sign. I did on 3 separate pieces of a flat bar, and then cut them out using the cold saw before taking it over to the grinder and cleaning up the corners and the edges before I welded on the stake that holds them to the ground or in the ground. The stakes that I'm using for these signs are like double repurposed. This is some leftover rebar that I had from a project a couple years ago that I took into the forge while it was still hot for something else, and pounded a point on all of them so that I could use them for tent stakes, for like the easy up tents that you see at like tailgate parties and stuff. And I had some extras. When I did them, I actually welded on this half-inch washer and then put a big plug on the end of it so that when I hammered it in, it wouldn't bend the washer and booger it up and tear it off the rebar. But yeah, I think these were just perfect in length for the garden stake signs. Yep. And then weld it on with a nice thick bead so it doesn't go anywhere in time. Here are the other 7 signs. I cleaned them up with a wire brush, but I'm not sealing them with poly. I'm just going to let them rust and be natural. And here's with all the stakes welded on. So you don't have to be right on top of them to read exactly what the plan is. I used the Swag Off Road press and put a little kink in the stake so that the signs face you as you walk up to the plants. So I think these turned out great. I think I'll never have to replace these stakes again, and it gives kind of an industrial vibe to the garden, which is a nice juxtaposition to the greenery and the life out there.